What's good, everybody? It's just your neighborhood angler, MoneyBass, out here about to do this thing we call Bass for Cash. Now, I am back on schedule. We're going to be out here on a weekly basis, seeing how many fish we can get to the boat in maybe about 2 hours or so. All you have to do on your end is subscribe to the channel, guess the weight of the fish, and bam, just like that, courtesy of SWAT Lawn Operations, you can walk away with some cash for your pocket. All right, let me go ahead and get a little work done real quick. Let's go ahead and drop a quick video for you guys so everybody will know that we're live and things are ready to go. Let's see. Let's put Bass for Cash is real. Put some eyeballs on there for you. Bass fishing and fishing. And bam, just like that, we got a video uploading for the people that don't know. And look at this, I wasn't paying attention. I almost hit straight into the buoy right there. All right, who do we have tuning in? Let's see who was first in the chat today. It's AC. AC is first in the chat. How's about that? All right. So I want to try something different today, guys. We're going to rig up the same bait, but instead of just throwing it on a regular kind of shaky head rig, we're going to look into my bag of tricks, and we're going to throw this bad boy on a Texas rig. So what I'm going to do is put a stopper on there. I'm going to actually tie two. So yeah, so this will work right here. We're going to put a stopper on here, and we're going to need, let's see, what kind of hook do I want to put on here? I want kind of a light hook because I want the bait to be able to move around freely. But we're going to Texas rig this thing, and I just want to check and see. So we're going to put kind of a smaller hook on here so it doesn't have too much weight on it. So that's going to be the setup. And I have two shaky head rods, so I'm going to put one with this setup that I'm putting together now, and the other one is just going to be the traditional way that I normally throw it. All right, man, looks like we have some action going on in here. Shout out to Whipstick. He said, what's good? We got Mario, James, Larry. He said, yes, MoneyBass is real. This isn't AI. It's not AI. Maybe. Is this AI? Am I AI-generated fisherman? All right, so here we go. So first, what I'm going to do is put a... Let's get that clipped. I need to get some new line cutters and something that's good for braid. Oh man, look at that. Okay, so that is not gonna work. Let's see if I even have a stopper in here. Maybe they're all gone. If not, then we're just gonna let it. Yep, I do not have any. Nope, nope, nope. Nothing, nada. All right, but that's okay. It's 1/8. We don't want 1/8. We want 1/4 ounce. So what I'm going to do with this is, since we don't have any of these little stoppers, we'll just throw those in the trash. We're just gonna rig it. Just let it run free and see how that does. All right, so this way, basically that bait on there, my sinker is just gonna be moving back and forth. And I'm gonna put a floating worm on here. Put a quick polymer knot on here. I just want to see if this will give us a different type of action. Then what I'm going to do is just go over into some shallower water real quick. And I just want to see if the bait is going to float enough or has enough buoyancy. You know, see how I can use those technical terms? See if it has enough buoyancy to keep the bait from sinking. So let's see. Let's put one of these on here. These worms float. Let's see, does it have the coloration on it that I want? Let's go with that one right there. Tom Mix says a little lag in the video now and then. All right, thanks for the info. So yeah, we're gonna rig the Texas rig, guys, and just see what happens with it. There we go. Got it on here, Texas rig. So that's how it looks, Texas rig. Nice and ugly. Nice and ugly. All right, make sure we get it on there straight. We're still gonna put some stank on it. Let's put these other baits. So I had to go to the store today to re-up. I've been breaking off a lot of these things lately, so I had to go and re-up. All right, let's put a little stank on it, and then we're gonna be good to go. What's up, Gary? Gary says, hey, Money, let me see. Have you been doing tournaments? So we did a Battle of the Anglers tournament this past weekend. So if you do want to see some of that live action from the videos that some of you guys have been keeping up with, just go over on YouTube. You can just go and search MoneyBass Battle of the Anglers. The most recent one is from this past weekend. It was a live tournament. Shout out to Anthony Perez with Perez Elite Fishing. He got the win on that one. It was a tough lake. It was tough. So he was able to come away with the win. He was able to get out there and figure some things out and come away with the win. So congrats to him. But yeah, if you're talking about any of the live, so yeah, my battery is still kind of low. I forgot to charge up my secondary battery. James Larry said, did you charge your batteries? I did. But I did not, I have to switch my connections around, and I did not do that. Timothy says, good luck out there today. I'm trying to get out Thursday up the Chestatee. Okay, so you're gonna go after some largemouth, right? James says, no AI here. Just watching fishing on Sinclair sometimes. So I'm just trying to get over here to some shallow water because I want to see if how this bait moves in shallow water. And I may start throwing this on, you know, every once in a while. And I'm kind of looking at it, and I see when it's falling that tungsten weight does kind of lead the bait, and the bait takes a little longer to get down there. So I have a feeling it's gonna, you know, give me the type of action that I want. So we're gonna see. Appreciate everybody for tuning back in. Timothy says, I normally catch 80% spots and 20% largemouth up that way. All right. And would you say that you still, because, you know, on this lake, people win tournaments with all spotted bass. So would you say on average, are your spotted bass bigger, or are you catching bigger largemouth whenever you fish up that way? So all I want to see now is once this hits the bottom, if that worm will float back up. Let me just toss it out here a little bit in front of the boat. And let's see what it does when it's down there on the bottom. And no, I can't believe it. The worm is actually not floating. Let me try it again. So maybe maybe my little experiment has began and ended very quickly. Guess I should have tried this out at home. I don't have a pool or anything I can test out these baits in. But all we're doing right now is just throwing a Texas rig out here right now with a floating worm. I wanted to see if the worm itself would float up away from the weight if I rig it like this. So when I'm fishing it, it might give me a kind of a better, and from what I can see, it is not floating. Let's try it one more time. What's going on, Levi? Haven't seen you in a minute. Timothy says, let me see, spots are skinnier versus the south end. I have caught a handful of nice largemouth, including 3 and 5 pounds the last 3 months. I'm the king of the 10-pound limit. Uh-oh, hey, that's a respectable bag right there. If you can get that on a regular basis, that's enough to win you a little bit of cash for those bass. I'm not really liking what I'm seeing with this. It isn't really working out the way that I thought it would. And it's probably because of the weight from the hook. You know what? Let me just try something else though. So what I really need to know is, will this bait float with this hook in here? So let's just put it in the water without the weight on it and see. And nope, there it goes. It does sink. But it has a real slow sink to it. All right, let's go out here and see if we can use it to catch some fish now. The test is complete. Cheeto says, what brand of braid do you use, or what braid do I use? So right now, this is generally like a very bright yellow, but over time it is faded, which is fine. Let me just cast it out here so I can show you. So there you go. Now you can see that it's bright yellow, but as it fades, it loses that yellow tint. But I use, on my shaky head, I will throw 15-pound high-vis yellow braid. And what that high-vis does is it helps, like when you see the braid on the water, can you see the braid sitting down there? Whenever I'm casting out in 30, 40, 50 feet of water, I want to make sure that my bait goes all the way to the bottom so I can keep an eye on that line. And once I see that line has stopped moving, then that lets me know that it is down on the bottom. But I use 15-pound braid, sometimes 15, 20-pound braid. I go with the 15 because I want to be able to cast a little bit longer. And then I tie mine off to 12-pound fluorocarbon because I cast my shaky head directly into a lot of brush piles and cover and laydowns and things like that. Things that a lot of people typically will fish a bait caster with a Texas rig. I fish that same thing with a spinning rod and a shaky head. So I want to make sure I can get those fish out of that cover. We're going to test out this Texas rig on this spinning rod out here in, I don't know, what is that, about 20 feet of water or so. Get a good long cast. Let's hit spot lock. So the wind just happened to start picking up as soon as I... Levi says, how do I go to the channel? If you're talking about watching some of that battle of the anglers that took place, just you can go to FishXLive. So if you go to FishXLive.com, download the app for free, click on the clubs tab. There'll be a button on there that says clubs, and you want to scroll down where you see the money team. And when you click on MoneyTeam, that'll take you directly to the my channel, basically, on FishXLive. And from there, once you're on my channel, click the tournaments link on that page, and you can choose the tournament that you want to watch. Gary says it might float better in deeper water. We'll see. Timothy says, on Lanier, a 10-pound limit gets you nothing. I like the north end as it's better for guys with smaller boats and no forward faces somewhere. Yeah, I mean, you definitely don't want to go out there and get mixed up in some of those bigger tournaments and come in with 10 pounds. But if you're out there fishing with a group of friends or something like that, you know, 10 pounds would be a pretty good bag. Whipstick says, did you charge your trolling motor battery? I did not. I charged my batteries, but I did not charge them correctly. So things are still kind of slow. So James, I charged 2 of my batteries. I have 3 trolling motor batteries, but I charged 2 of them. And what happened is one of the battery banks, one of the charging banks on the charger itself is bad. So I have to go in there and switch the leads. After the 2 batteries get charged up, then I go and connect the lead to the 3rd battery. And I did not do that yesterday. James said, forgive him. He's getting old. All right, well, we're going to see, guys. We're going to see if we can get a few fish to the boat and see if you guys actually want this money. Yesterday, Whipstick said they don't want this money. Man, I was really hoping I could get out here and fish around with a fluke a little bit, but the wind is starting to pick up on me. And that's not good for what I was wanting to do. JS Weezy says, no bendation. We're just getting started. Levi says, do you use bait casters? Let's see. So there's a bait caster right there. But out here, I primarily use spinning rods because I fish offshore a lot on this lake. But if you watch the tournament from this past weekend, not that it would be very impressive, but I was using a bait caster a lot because I was throwing crankbaits, buzz bait. Did I throw a buzz bait? Poppers. I was throwing a lot of different things because I was going after largemouth. So I was fishing shallower water. But I know the guys that fish that lake now, I see guys out there fishing like offshore and stuff, where before I never really used to see that on that lake. All right, let's see. We're looking. All right, we're gonna make one more cast out here, and then we're gonna keep on moving. What's going on, Rory? Good to see you. Timothy says, I'm totally happy catching an 8 to 12 pound limit. Some days a couple of small ones is it. Just getting out and catching a few is relaxing. That's right. That's right. Just coming out to the lake is relaxation. I mean, and you see, I just come out here. Hey, I'm out here for a good time, not a long time. Just come out here, catch a few fish, see what we could throw on the scale for everybody, and then I'm going with the wind. All right, let's see, guys. All right, the wind kind of slowed down a little bit, so I do still have my fluke on deck. Let's go ahead and start moving. We have about, let's see, what time is it, guys? 2:30, 3:30, 4:30. I think we have about 2 hours on the shot clock. If you guys could put 2 hours on the shot clock for me, then we'll be good to go. All right, chat. Drop a 1 in the chat if you guys can hear me okay and see me okay. Just want to make sure everything is good. See whenever we get one of these fish on. Yeah, if you guys could, just drop a 1 in the chat for me. All right, appreciate that. All right, guys, is it starting to break up a little bit? If it is, then I have to keep on moving. But I hope not, because I think we're going to catch a fish or two from right here. I think we can make it happen. All right, does anybody have any tournaments that are coming up this weekend? What are you guys going to be getting into? James says, hey, that's a good spot. All right, I saw a few 1s come through. Drop some 1s in the chat, guys. I just want to make sure everybody can hear me and see me. We're hear and see. All right, appreciate that. Gary says, I'm hoping just to get out there. Appreciate that, Timothy Turner and Levi. Uh-oh, we got Patricia tuning in. She slid into the chat. Shout out to Ali with the squiggly lines. Appreciate you for tuning in. Okay, we might have a hook set coming up soon. Patricia says, go to Flat Creek. All right, I guess I have to go and check out Flat Creek, Patricia. That is what your message said, right? Go to Flat Creek. All right, I see some roamers out there. Let's see if we can get in on some action. All right, so who is going to be fishing any tournaments or going to any events or just hanging out doing some fun fishing this weekend? What's the 411, guys? All right, Levi said he's gonna have to fish on line because he's sick. He can't head to the lake. Well, I hope you get better soon. Yeah, so we're dealing with a slight breeze. Have some fish that are out there roaming around. Probably throw a crankbait out here in just a second. See if that'll get their attention. So who was watching yesterday and saw that nice sunset? All right, trying to get that cast right where I need it to be. Yeah, James, you definitely don't want to be on the boat with some balance issues alone. All right, we're going to try a crankbait next, guys. We're going to run a crankbait through there a few times. See if we can get a little action. All right. So I'm going to have to change these crankbaits out because my reels, it is not adjusting correctly whenever I'm trying to change it up so it doesn't backlash on me. So I think something's loose with the brakes or the bearings or something on this reel. So let's just change these. Oh, shoot. Don't you hate it when a hook gets you in the finger? I'm going to change these crankbaits out real quick. This one I have a speed clip, so it makes it easier for me to change them out real quick. So if you're a co-angler, you definitely want to use these speed clips. So that way you don't have to bring as many rods to the tournaments, and it doesn't take you as long to retie all of that good stuff. Let me just cut this line off of here. See, if I had a speed clip, I wouldn't have to be trying to cut that little piece of line off of here. All right, so with the speed clip, all you have to do is get in here and just clip it on there. And you want to make sure that it's latched on there good, so that your bait doesn't come off. All right, let's try this crankbait, see if these fish want a crankbait. All right, they're like, no, partner, we don't want that crankbait. All right, we got some good bottom contact over there. That was not a good cast. Really, I want to be able to throw it on that other reel because it has the line and everything on there that I want. But like I said, it's not casting good right now. I have to go and make some adjustments on it. All right, let's see. What are you guys talking about? Levi said he wants to be big at bass fishing. Well, all you have to do is go out there and start fishing, Levi. That's about it. Just be consistent at whatever it is that you do, and you should be just fine. Levi said, but I have no followers. You have to go and start making content, Levi. And you got to give yourself some time. How old are you, Levi? I think I remember you from a while back. How old are you, Levi? Levi said 13. I think when you first came to the channel, you were 11 or 12. I knew I remembered you, Levi. The only way to get followers is to keep making videos, keep putting content out. And just try to post something at least 3 times a week and more if you can. And that's it. All right, one more cast here, and then we're gonna keep on moving. We're gonna go check out a different area of the lake today. Oh, wait a minute. I said one more cast, but I didn't make the official cast. I need to make an official cast now because I saw something. When you see something, you gotta say something. All right. Let's see what is going on back here. All right, guys, hold on 1 second. Let's see. Hey, guys, I'll be back. I'm on a call. You hear that? And they're talking. So give me a second. I'll be back, guys. All right, guys, I'm back. Drop a 1 in the chat if you guys can hear me, okay? I had to take a phone call. And got to send out a quick message. Then we can get back to it. Like I said, we're going to head out to a different area. Well, actually, let's see. Yeah, there is something I want to check out. So since the water's down, there's something I want to just check out on this lake and just see how it looks, because actually once I send this message, I'm going to check to see how low the water actually is on the lake so I can make the adjustments on my mapping. Let's just go ahead and put this back on mapping for now so I can make the adjustments on the mapping. All right, let's see what's making some noise back here. Something's back here moving around. You guys see anything? All right, let's focus on catching some fish. Hold on 1 second, guys. All right, I'm back. Let's see. Are you guys still in the chat? I know I was gone for a minute. I had to take a phone call. All right, if you're back in the chat and you can hear me okay and see me okay, go ahead and drop a 1 for me. And we're gonna get moving. We're just gonna get straight to it and go to an area and see if we can find some schooling fish. And if not, then we may have to slow it back down, guys. But drop a 1 in the chat if you guys can hear me okay. Appreciate that, SB Bros and Levi. Shout out to Texas Newt. We got Frisco tuning in. We got the Texas guys in the chat. Now it's getting close to time to where we're gonna have another big bass battle going on, guys. I don't know if any of you are in the chat that watched the big bass battle last time, but we had somebody representing Florida, 2 guys from Texas. We had Iowa, Alabama, and Georgia. And Texas took the big bass title. And it's almost time for a rematch. Uh-oh. Why did this have to happen? What is kind of a knot is this? Oh, come on, buddy. I'm gonna have to cut my line, not that much of it. Let's see if I can figure this out. Pull that back through there. Man, you know, it's always something. It's always something trying to catch me, stop me from catching these fishes. But is it gonna work? Let's see if I can get this knot loose. Come on, can't let it tighten up on me. All right, Levi, that's not gonna work. That's not gonna work, Levi. You have to go to your channel and you have to put content out. So that is your tip. All right, it would be nice to get a fluke bite today. So we're gonna see. Not really seeing too much of anything out here. All right, let's see. Let's get back out there with this little Texas rig set up. Just trying to something a little bit different. Frisco says, can't remember if you got the Ranger back or not. Frisco said he's still out of commission. Water's nice and calm today. See where that sun is at up there shining bright? Have a little bit of ripple on the lake. Surprised I'm not really seeing any more activity on the top. But I'm not seeing any bait fish or anything like that really, so I'm gonna have to keep on moving, guys. uh, Texas Newt said you guys were clowning this weekend. He felt bad for hog catcher. Man, did you watch the Meet the Anglers video the night before? So you have to watch. If you didn't see that, you need to watch that. You always want to watch those Meet the Anglers videos the night before so you can hear what kind of talking and all that kind of stuff is going on and what kind of predictions people have, because that kind of dictates how some of that trash talking goes the next day too. But yeah, so they were kind of going at it on the Meet the Anglers also. And so yeah, so there were some new guys on there that didn't really know anybody. So there were some new faces, new faces yesterday, and they were going at it from the get-go. And I was like, uh-oh, are we gonna have to call security? But it's funny how you're saying you feel bad for hog catcher, and he got second place. And so I try to tell those guys, like, hey, getting out there and catching fish isn't everything. Because you're saying the person who got second place, you feel bad for them. What about the person who came in last? So I see some activity out there now. So let's see. Make a few more casts before we abandon ship. Man, they're gonna make me have to break out my swim baits and everything. I guess this fall transition is in full effect, guys. The fish are moving a little different, acting a little different, reacting a little different. All right, I'm not too impressed with my little test setup that I was trying. Let's go back to the original and see if that makes a difference. All right, one more and then we're getting out of here. Headed to another spot. All right. And we would get hung up on the cast right before I planned on take it off and heading to another area. So yeah, what we're gonna do is we're gonna move and we're gonna run out, start heading towards the main lake and see if maybe those fish are acting a little different out there. They're not acting right. We need some fish that wanna act right. And acting right is biting the bait so I can catch it and reel it to the boat. All right, Frisco says he took it out last week, was frustrated, but did not catch. Let me see. But did catch some in a 5-pounder. Okay, all right, well, that's a good day on the lake. But I guess you want that boat working right too, right? All right, guys, got hung up again. But the thing about it, the water's so low, I can actually see the stuff that I'm hung up in. And actually, I think I can see my bait right there. Let's see if I can just swing right on top of it and get it loose so it doesn't break off. All right, so does anybody have any tournaments coming up this weekend? I will be fishing a tournament on Lake Oconee this weekend, guys. We'll see. I might be live. It might be live. We'll see. Man, to be. All right, guys, are we back? Are we back in action? If you guys can hear me and see, drop a 1 in the chat for me. I want to make sure we're back. All right, guys, in the chat, drop a 1 in there for me again. I just want to make sure you guys can still hear me and see me, okay? I hate that I had to leave. Well, let's make sure you guys can hear me. Drop a 1 in the chat if you guys can hear me, and then I'll tell you what just happened. All right, so we had to leave the area that I was just in, and I hated to do that because there was a lot of fish there, and I had a fish on, but it pulled me down and broke me off, and it actually hit the little Texas rig setup that I told you guys I was testing out. So I had one on there. Don't have any idea of how big it was or anything like that. And because it wrapped me up pretty good, and I'm guessing it was a decent size because it was able to snap that line so easy when it pulled me through that brush pile. All right. Tom Mix says, are we live? All right, you guys let me know. Are we live? Can you see and hear? Can you see me? Can you hear me? Does everything look and sound all right? Frisco says, sure, you had a fish on. He said that was a rock pulling your line like that. He said that was a rock. He said rocks bite too. All right, Frisco. I see how it is. I see how it is, Frisco. I'm gonna have to show you something. Man, guys, being away for, how long was it? It was like 3 weeks or a month or so. All the peepers are gone. Look at that. We only have about 13 people in here right now. Remember when we would have like 100 and something people, sometimes 200. So I got to work my way back up into the game again. Gary says, it's your lie. You can tell it any way you want. Oh, man, it's not like that, is it? You got to have faith in your partner. All right, let's see if we can slow this thing down just a little bit. Trolling motor battery's low. Tom said, rocks always feel big, even if it's a small rock. It was a 5-pounder. I'm gonna let the boat drift a little bit and get on the other side so I don't have to keep trying to fight the wind and everything. Frisco says, trolling motor battery low. What about that 7-cent savings? I spent it, Frisco. I didn't invest it like I had planned. I got bad spending habits. I spent my investment money. Shout out to Blaster. Blaster's like, hey, chat, I'm back again. We got Rory hitting me with a 1. I think Rory must be behind a little bit. Rory, you might need to refresh your screen. Because I think you might be behind in the chat. Shout out to Tom. He says, might as well call it a 7. It was a 7-pounder. It wasn't a 5. All right, I need everybody to answer in the chat. Yes or no? Have you heard about that kayak situation? Well, the kayak tournament where a guy had a boat and he had cut out a piece of a kayak that he would sit inside of the boat to make it appear as though he was fishing from a kayak during tournaments, like online tournaments. Has anybody heard about that? The guy that was fishing from a regular bass boat or tracker or something like that, but he had cut out a piece of a kayak to give the impression that he was fishing out of a kayak. Has anybody heard about that? Black. Uh-oh. Drop a 1 in the chat for me, guys. I think Rory may be behind in the chat, possibly. But drop a 1 in the chat if you guys can still hear me. Frisco said, huh? All right, so we're good. I think Rory's behind in the chat, guys. All right. So who all has heard about it? Let's see. Tom Mick said yes. Country Carpenter said no. Gary said no. Frisco said, what a cheater. Blaster said no. Man, so you guys didn't hear about that. That's crazy. So, yeah, so just imagine. So I'm on a bass boat, right? And obviously bass boats get around a lot faster than kayaks. So it is not a fair fight, a fair battle to have a kayak tournament, to have a bass boat or tracker boat, somebody that has a bigger motor in a kayak tournament. So what this guy did is he took a kayak and cut out just the portion of it where the kayak person sits, and he has it aiming down. So when he takes the measuring board, let's see if I can give you a demonstration. Let's see if I can give you a demonstration. So now let's say if you guys take a look at this boat, you see I have a lot of space on here, right? Now just imagine if I was to just cut out like the little middle section of a kayak and set it right here, right? So now when you guys are looking, what you're gonna see is just this view, just a small area, right? So you can't see that the up here is a boat, or I mean my bass boat or anything. You just see a small cutout section of a kayak with my measuring board sitting here, and I put my fish on it and I snap a picture right here. So this is all you see, and you see the little cutout section of the kayak. So it appears that I'm on a kayak. So he actually went through all of that effort to compete in these kayak tournaments. And he had actually won some tournaments from what I'm understanding. He had got some prizes and stuff in multiple tournaments. All right, now we're upwind. Now we can just hit spot lock and kind of chill for a second so we can talk about it. Clint Perry said, very clever. Man, but yeah, so that is what the person did. Clint Perry said Randy covered that story. A lot of people covered that story. Tom Mick says fishing out of a tracker. That's right. So he was in a tracker. So I guess it's still considered a bass boat, right? A tracker. But whatever it is, it's a lot faster than a kayak because it does have a bigger motor on it. So he was caught. They actually have pictures of his boat at the dock being loaded up. So once they, I'm not sure how they started finding out about it. I can't remember how he got turned in. But then little videos started popping up from people that had seen the boat, and they thought it was kind of a different looking thing. So some people actually took video of it. Other people took pictures. But he did end up getting caught. Gary says, so what to do with him? What do you do with somebody like that? So obviously he was disqualified. He was removed from the fishing app that they use to run kayak tournaments. But what do you guys think should be done to somebody like that? He's actually won some tournaments. So he's actually, I mean, think about the guys that were competing that have paid their entry fees and got up early and spent time away from their family to go and compete in these tournaments. And they have somebody out there that's cheating to that extent. Now, this is the kicker, guys. In the chat, if you already know the answer, don't put the answer in the chat. If you already know the answer, don't put the answer in the chat. This is the question I want you guys to put in the chat. And I'm going to call it out as people put their guesses in here. How much do you think the prize was that he was competing for in the tournament where he got caught? What do you guys think the prize money was? What do you think the payout was in that tournament? Gary said he should be fined for everything. All right, so what do you guys think the prize was? If he would have won that tournament and got first place, what do you think the prize money was? For him to go through all of that, how much money do you think he was going to win? What do you guys think? Gary said 2,500. Frisco said 5K. Come on, I need some more guesses in the chat. Somebody, anybody? What's going on? We got Jay tuning in. Come on, guys. We need some more guesses. We need to make it interesting. How much do you think the prize money was if he would have won? C219 Troll said 2K. Hog Catcher said it's 12,000. He said that's about a $12,000 worth of effort. Blaster says 10,000. Okay, let's get 3 more guesses. We need 3 more people to put guesses in here, and then I'm going to see if there's somebody who actually knows. But if you know the answer already, don't put it in there yet. I want to see what people are guessing, what people think that someone would actually cut out a piece of a kayak, put it on their bass tracker, and use it to cheat in a tournament. Go through all of that effort. Gary says 500. All right, we need 2 more guesses. Anybody else want to put a guess in the chat? We need 2 more people to guess. because I'm pretty sure Clint Perry knows the answer. Big shout out to Clint Perry. He was one of the sponsors of this live stream yesterday. Really appreciate that. CP, the general of the money team, gifted 5 memberships yesterday, but still nobody wanted that money. All right, guys, come on. We need 2 more guesses in the chat. How much do you think the guy was competing for? And then I'm going to let Clint Perry give you guys the answer because I'm pretty sure he knows. All right, so there was a person cheating in a kayak tournament by cutting out a small piece of a kayak to make it appear as though he was fishing from a kayak, and he would set it on his bass tracker. Tom Mix says, okay, there we go. Rob Hendry said $1,500. Tom Mix said $1. All right, Clint Perry, are you in the chat? Let everybody know how much the guy was competing for. If he would have won this tournament, that he went through all of that effort to cheat by cutting out a piece of a kayak and putting it on a bass tracker boat to make it appear as though he was fishing from a kayak. Let's see if Clint can put it in the chat. Or who knows? Does anybody know the answer to that? If you know the correct answer, go ahead and put it in the chat so everybody can see. Shout out to Tom Mix. Tom Mix said $200. That is correct. How did you know that, Tom? You heard about the story? Clint Perry says, I'm not sure, I wasn't paying attention. My guess is $200 to $300. That is correct. It was a $200 payout. And now his reputation, his character, his integrity, he has been deleted from any of the apps that will allow you to compete in those tournaments. And he has been flagged. So he cannot compete anymore. And it was for a $200 prize. What is that? What was going on with that? He was trying to stack up some wins. All right, guys, so it's looking like this fall transition is getting a hold of me right now. Well, it may not even be that. I just haven't been out here for a while because of that government shutdown. I'm pretty sure you guys saw my videos that I was putting out. Blaster says, wow, that's stupid. The kayak costs more. Junior says, are we on the board? Not yet. Not yet. It's the fish I had on, I wasn't even on screen to where you could see it. But I had one on and it got loose. Well, it actually broke my line. It wrapped me up pretty bad and I lost the battle. You win some, you lose some. Tom Mix says he saw a couple of streams covered it. Kayak streams, that's right. Frisco says none of my lakes were closed during the shutdown. Well, the lake wasn't closed. It was just certain ramps. And as I told you before, I'm kind of lazy. I did not feel like driving way across trying to find other ramps. And I did go and check out either 1 or 2 other ramps, and those were closed also. So I was like, I don't feel like driving around. And some ramps that they're saying were open were actually closed. So I was like, I'll try again next time. Frisco said cheapo. Junior says, let's see. He says, I tried the fluke this past weekend and no luck. Man, I was killing them with a fluke on Gunnersville. When we had the tournament out there, I think I had like 8 fish between 8 and 9 o'clock. I'd already got 8 fish to the boat, all on the fluke. Oh, man, oh, man. Yeah, it's going to take me a little time. 4 o'clock, guys. We have a little bit more time. I think we have about 30 minutes on the shot clock. Somebody put 30 minutes on the shot clock for me, and then we gotta dip up out of here. We got a jet in about 30 minutes. But before I go, let's get one to the boat so we can see if anybody wants to go away with any of this cash for this bass. All right, let's see. What's going on, Rob? Rob said, you know the people that shut it down, I believe, get all back pay for doing nothing. Somebody know for sure. Yeah, I don't really know, Rob. I don't keep up with that stuff like that. Let's see. Gary says, you got to catch one first. I got to stay out here till I get one to the boat, Gary. All right, Gary, let's see if I can make that happen then. Gary said, I can't leave until I get a fish to the boat. Oh, my goodness. Gary says, because I want that money. Junior says, I believe they were still working and not receiving a check. Shout out to Terry C. We got a long time member of the Money Team tuning in. All right, let's change it up. Let's see, where did I put my crankbait at? And I need to go ahead and break out my swim baits and all that good stuff. So things have changed up on me, guys. So now I kind of cycle through some baits and see what they're biting now, because I haven't been out here for a minute. So I'm on a reconnaissance mission. I need some info. Gonna slow it down a little bit now, guys. I'm throwing it kind of shallow. Gonna let it bump around a little bit. Speed it back up. It's tricky. It's tricky. What's going on, Dwayne? Dwayne says, let me see. I'm so jealous of you fishing. I live in New Jersey, and it's cold, and the water is very low. So the water is low here. It was cold a few days ago, but it's a lot better now. Man, I thought I heard some fish schooling, guys. All right, let's one more cast with this, and we're gonna go ahead and get a swim bait out. I have a feeling that it might be that time of season for the swim baits. And you know what I could do is I could go back and look in FishXLive at my journal and see how I was catching the fish last year at this time. Come on, bud. FishXLive. See if I can get some hints, some tips on what I need to do. All right, what are you guys talking about in the chat? Rob says it's about 70 degrees where he's at. All right. 40s in Chicago. All right, let's take a look in here and see what's going on. All right, so we're gonna open up FishXLive, and then we're going to take a look at my journal of catches. And this is November, right? All right, so these are the fish I was catching November. I'll say this was earlier this. So there we go. Check this out, guys. So this right here is from Gunnersville. So this is when I was catching those fish on top water on a fluke. Shout out to Mask Off back there in the background. All right, let's see. This is Gunnersville. Some of you may have already seen that picture right there. So that was Gunnersville. I caught those fish on a fluke. Let's see. Here's Lanier. All right, so Lake Lanier. This was November 15th. What is today's date, guys? November 15th of 2024. Look at that one right there. How much does that fish weigh? Almost 3 pounds. And I caught that one on a jerk bait. You guys see that? Brush Pal, 4 to 5 p.m. So from 4 to 5 p.m., and it's 4 o'clock right now. Check that out. 4 to 5 p.m. Caught a super dink with a jerk bait first. The bigger fish seemed to be on the bottom. The deal shaky head has been working very well. All right, so there we go. And I have the location, the area where I caught that fish at. So today's the 18th, just a little bit. Junior says there's an app now. Junior, there has been an app. Look right here on the boat. Junior, how dare you, Junior? How could you not have heard about FishXLive? It's all over the boat, and I've been talking about it for a while. But yeah, so I can go in here and look to see what I was doing last year at the same time. So let's see what else I caught. So this was on Lake Sinclair, Oconee, Lanier. So here's another Lanier fish. Let's see what I caught that one on. And that one, I did not put notes in there. Oh, man. So no notes, but it was a decent looking fish. All right, let's go back. So I didn't log too much back in November. Let's see, October, November. Let's just check October. October of 2024, goodness. I didn't put too much of anything in there. Lake Lanier, here's October. Let's see what I caught that one on. I bet I caught it on a shaky head. Let's see. Nope, caught that one on top water. Look at that, guys. The fish were very active when there was overcast, bright sunny day. I could get them to come up and hit on top. They would follow the Sebile. There's a lot of top water activity in this location. Oh, and then I have the location down here. Let me zoom in and take a look and see where I was at. Okay, I know where that's at. Wow. Junior says, it's been a while. All right, so that gives me a little bit of info. That's why I like logging my catches in FishXLive. So now, jerkbait. All right, so let's just see. Let's test it out and see what happens. I'm gonna put a jerkbait on. We're almost out of time, guys. So let me get this jerkbait out of here. But I haven't seen, like like the note said, there was a lot of top water activity, but I haven't seen any top water activity. Now, where's that jerkbait? Here's the jerkbait right here waiting for me. And this is the same jerkbait that's on that picture that I was using a year ago. I don't know if you guys remember, but I got this jerkbait for free. I found it floating in the lake, and I tied it on and I actually caught a fish with it. Does anybody remember the nickname of this jerkbait? Does anybody remember the nickname of this jerkbait? You see that? That's what we're about to throw now. So let's see. First, let's straight out here at these, what I see right in front of me. All right, let's try it one more again. Shout out to Blast. He said Cyclops. He remembers the name. Blast said FishXLive is no joke. All right, so who thinks the jerkbait is gonna work? Who thinks the jerkbait is gonna work? All right, let's make one more cast over here. Then I'm just gonna cast in a different direction. Just kind of, oh shoot. Now what did I just do? Oh, my knot. Now that wasn't good. There's a knot in here. Look at that, guys. Oh my goodness, there's a bunch of knots in there. Let me cast this thing out this way, just so I can get the knots out of here. All right, there we go. We got the knots out. Now let's just see. Rory says, are we back live? Rory, you are behind. Rory, you have to reset your screen, Rory. We've been live. Your messages are kind of behind right now. All right, so there we go. So yes, I do have some knots in here. So what I'm going to do now is actually, we're gonna cut this line and retie it because there's a knot right in the middle of it. Where are my clippers at? Oh man, where did I put my cutters at? All right, there they go. All right, so we're just gonna retie. We're gonna cut the knots out of here. So I don't know if you guys can see it right there, but that's one knot. So I'm gonna cut it right in front of this knot. And then I'm gonna pull it. And look, here's another knot right here. You guys see that? There's another knot right there. We're gonna pull it all the way until we get that braid out of the way that has the knot in there. Luckily, I have a lot of braid on this line, so cutting this little bit out isn't gonna hurt anything. So now we're gonna cut this. This is 8-pound fluorocarbon right here. So we got that knot out of the way. And now I'm going to tie an Alberto knot to hold these back together because it goes through the guides a little bit better for me. All right, so let's get this knot tied real quick. One, two, three, four. Shoot, did I mess my knot up? I did. Let's start back over. One. Shoot. All right, I'm holding everything in kind of an awkward position. So let's just flip everything around so it'll be all right. And let's start back over so I can get it right. Don't want to end up losing Cyclops, right? So we got to get the knot right. All right, here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. One way, then we're going to bring it back the other way. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Junior Martinez says, what's the name of that app? Does anybody tell Junior Martinez the name of the app? Is there anybody that can tell Junior Martinez the name of the app? That is his question that he put in the chat. Can anybody tell Junior the name of the app that I was just looking at? Go to FishXLive.com. You have to go to FishXLive.com. That is where you have to go to get it, at FishXLive.com. You can download it for free, guys. All right, let's get that knot cut. All right, so after I cut these knots, you always want to make sure you didn't nick the line. So you want to put some pressure on it. That'll reel in a 10-pounder right there. All right, so now we can get back out here again. We still have some time left. So yeah, Junior, you have to go to FishXLive.com to download that app. So it is a tournament app, guys, but it has features on there that anglers can use, like that journal that I just showed you. So it has other things that it can do, but it is a professional tournament fishing app. There we go. Now I can get a long cast out of there. Oh man, they're on it, guys. Oh, they didn't take it though. Oh my God. It was a school of them. Let's get back out there again. All right, so that is the ticket. Oh yeah, with those knots going, this thing casts very far. So I think the retrieve that I had, what I did wrong, guys, is I probably started moving it too slow. Once the fish started chasing after it, I should have kept the speed up and had it going a lot faster. So now what I just did is I can tell it got those fish active. So they're actively looking around now. So now let's go back and change it because it looks like they went back down to the bottom. So I'm gonna ease back on them and throw something down on the bottom with them. We're gonna put a little stank on it. Blaster says no bendation. All right, guys, we have 10 minutes on the shot clock. Who thinks I can do it? Who thinks I can catch one in 10 minutes? We have 10 minutes on the shot clock, guys, and then I have to get missing. We're gonna put a little stank on it first. And then we're gonna see if I can get it cracking in these last few minutes. Gary said, we just want to see a keeper. Rob says he has that exact same chartreuse bait. Where's it at? Where did I put it at? Oh, that one right there. Yep, that's my little stash for things I could reach down there and grab real quick. But that stuff I was using at the tournament this past weekend that didn't really help me out too much. Gunn says, has it been a slow day? Yes, sir. It's been a slow day. We still had a good time. Always out here for a good time, even if it's not a long time. We still have a little bit more time on the shot clock. We have 10 minutes on the shot clock. And then I have to get missing. Frisco said, you might be able to get us an FBS. Patricia said, the catfish are jumping. Why'd it have to be the catfish, Patricia? Gunn says, what lake am I on? I am on Lake Lanier right now. What's going on, Country Carpenter? All right, so they didn't want to cooperate. So let's shift focus. Let's get that jerk bait back in my hand. So yeah, I definitely need to, on a regular basis, every time I catch something, to keep logging it in that journal. Because as you guys saw, that will definitely be a big help. Whenever you're trying to figure things out, you can just go back and see exactly where you were at and the bait you were using, all of that good stuff. Tom Mix said, it's field goal time. All right, here we go. Field goal time. Got a long cast on that jerk bait, and it was a good cast. Let's see. I'm going to move this thing fast through here and see if we can get a reaction bite. Oh, man, we got a reaction. We got the reaction, but no bite. Oh, man. Let's ease back again and try it again. So we got the reaction, but no bite. How about that? What is the deal? Goodness gracious, guys. I tried to pause it on them that time, and that still didn't work. All right. You know what? Let's just see if they'll come up and hit a popper on top. Because they're moving. They're moving. Blaster said, that's a good helper, that FishXLive. Blaster said, we waiting to hear, oh my God. I am too. I am too. That's what I want to hear. Because you know that's going to be a good one. All right, let's see. Oh, they're coming up to it, guys. Oh, man. Come on, bud. Just take a little bite. Just a little bite. They're not cooperating, guys. They're not cooperating. They're trying to make me look bad. All right, let's go back to the jerk bait. Nada. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. How much time do we have left? 5 minutes? We have 5 minutes left. And I have just killed the spot, guys. 5 minutes left. And that's all she wrote. All right, we're going to get a little closer and go down on the bottom. Gary said, we always have a last cast. All right, let's change it back up, guys. They didn't want the jerk bait, but the jerk bait is getting some reaction, at least. Blanton says, oh my God, now I'm sad. Jody said, catch one for me, MoneyBass. Let's see if we can make it happen. We have 3 minutes left. And then I have to skedaddle. Oh, man. Oh, man. Don't say it, Frisco. Frisco's not chatting anymore, is he? Tell him not to say it. Oh, goodness. Okay, Frisco didn't see it. All right, Frisco's gone. All right, I'm safe. Wait a minute. Oh, my. Hold on. Frisco, where did you come from? Listen, guys, when I say if you see something, say something, that's not what you're supposed to be putting in the chat. Oh, man. Frisco said needed caps for that one. Oh, man, I thought I had a good one. I thought I was about to bust a mouthpiece, guys. All right. It looks like we may have 2 more casts left. Rob said, oh, I didn't see it either. Come on, buddy, don't let me down. Frisco's waiting to laugh at me. I don't feel good about that cast. So we gonna redo it. All right, guys, this is the official last cast, and then we got to get up out of here. Can I make it happen on the last cast? We're gonna fish it all the way back to the boat too, guys. Oh, and the alarm is going off. Uh-oh. It is the official last cast. Oh, what was that? Was that something schooling out there? Let's just check it out and see. Nope, nothing schooling. All right, all right. Let's go ahead and start packing up. As we make this last cast and fish it all the way back to the boat. Jody said, hopefully it's a 20-pound catfish. Frisco said, told you we would have at least an FBS before you had to go. No. Come on, guys. Frisco cannot be right. Come on, fish. Don't do it to me. Don't let me go out like this. Not in front of Frisco. Oh, man. Well, we have one more cast left, guys. This is the official last cast. So that first one was a test of the emergency broadcast system. So now that we finished the test, now we have to do the official last cast. All right, there we go. That's nice and official. Let's try a different retrieve this time. Frisco said gave you FBS credit. 7 cents worth. Oh, they don't want to act right today, guys. All right, they win today. They won today. They got me. But I'll be back for revenge. All right, I appreciate everybody for tuning in, guys. It's time for me to hit the gas pedal and get up out of here. So I will be back. We're back in action. I appreciate everybody for tuning in. Make sure you hit the subscribe button if you have not already done so. We got to get the numbers back up. We are still on our way to 20,000 subscribers, guys. We're moving kind of fast. We slowed down for a minute, but now I am back. Fred said, are you using worms? I've used a few worms. All right, guys, I appreciate it. Big shout out to FishXLive.com. You guys saw how I use that app to come out here and at least get an idea of what the pattern was, even though it was a little late in the day. I was a little late in the game, but that's what I will start off with tomorrow. So we know, based on what my note said in FishXLive, that is FishXLive.com, that I should have been throwing a jerkbait, guys, because that's what was getting me the results at this exact time of the year last year. All right, I appreciate it, guys. Let's take a look at that nice view right there as we ease on out. All right, I appreciate everybody, and I will see you tomorrow. Peace.